3 nights ago, last Thursday, we had 46 people gathered at the B'nai Israel Temple here in Southbury for Justice Southbury's first community conversation. We explored the theme of, quote, bridging the divide, the better way to bring about change. The idea was to try to expand what we're doing beyond the corner on Sunday and beyond our Zoom speaker series to see, could we find a way to gather and get a critical mass of people together who aren't just those who, whatever we say here, people will say, yes, I'm with you. The idea was to try to expand this to capture the attention of people who don't like what we're doing. And in that, I think we're at least partially successful. So I'd like Connie to come up and talk to us about the experience that she had on Thursday night at the community conversation.
Make it. See, he can fix it for the short person. Can you hear me now? So I was very excited to attend on Thursday because I had missed Sunday. So I really felt like I had missed something when Rick sent me a screenshot of the flyer that he had inviting people to the conversation. I'm like, all those people on Sunday that went got to hear it, but I was working, so I didn't know. So I was very excited that it was conversation number 1, which leads me to the implication that we're going to have lots more of those conversations. So in the course of the night, where there were 45 people, which was really exciting, and we don't wear our labels on our shirts, so you figured that most of the people there are kind of on our side, so to speak. And Rick talked about the fact that when he dreamt this up and spoke with the rabbi and a bunch of other faith leaders, that we would sit in the library because there'd be like 10 or 12 of us, and we would sit around a table and have a conversation. And then through this process of RSVPing, next thing I know, he's like, we're 45, so they moved us down into their community room. So that was the first sign of real success. So as the night went on and the speaker spoke about how the relative acts of being decent human beings are what we all have at our core, and that reaching out to one another that way was his approach to helping us cross this divide. And then it was opened up to comments and questions. And there was a person there who stood up and proudly said, I voted for Trump twice. And they said it quite proudly. And I have to admit in my heart that I have felt bad about it ever since, because my heart hardened a little bit that moment. That she could quite proudly, in the face of a 37-year-old mom being shot in the face and killed, proudly announce that she supported the man that's in the White House. So fast forward through the rest of the great reflections that we had and the number of people who shared. We're cleaning up and getting ready to go. And this person was asking, are you going my way? Because could you just drop me off at Dunkin' Donuts? Because then my husband can come out and get me. We're like, okay, well, where do you live? And she's like, well, I live on Burma Road, which is directly on our way home. So we bridged our little divide that day by providing a ride home, and then her husband didn't have to come out and get her. And so we didn't have a lot of personal conversation about those sides that we each are pretty well anchored in. But I'm hoping that the next time she tries to put us all in a single boat, and one of the things that was said was that, well, I spoke to one rally and they said we don't want to talk to you, and I spoke to the other rally and she named all the rallies as Justice Southbury, and that wasn't us, either rally that she was speaking of. So I'm hoping that the kindness that reaches across the divide is the next time she goes to say, well, that Justice Southbury, that won't be the thought that's in her head. It'll be that people went out of their way, not so far, but went out of their way knowing that she was on the opposite side of their divide to offer a ride and deliver her safely home.
Thank you, Connie. Mike, can I tell your part of that story? Okay, if I can work the microphone. Before she spoke, a number of other people had asked questions and made comments, one of whom was Mike, Connie's husband. And Mike stood up and said, in essence, in this liberal crowd we have here, what can we do to reach across the aisle? And so 10, 15 minutes later, she got up and said, I wear a MAGA hat. After we started breaking up the meeting, which, by the way, it was supposed to, I think we'd originally conceived it as 10 people sitting around the table for an hour. It was 46 people for 2.5 hours or so. After it was over, Mike walked over to this woman and apologized to her for assuming that everybody there was a liberal, and said that he had learned a lesson, something to that effect. And that's something we had talked about during the rally, was having the humility to recognize that other people can teach us things. And then at the end of the night, when she says, "Are you going my way?" I thought it was quite metaphorical. But really was a wonderful moment. Mike came up to me and talked to me afterwards, after he had spoken to her. And it's one of those little moments that make you say, if that's all we accomplished, if that's the only thing that happened in that evening, that was enough. That was pretty good. And it reminded me of things like the mom who called me to say that Justice Southbury is the reason she feels comfortable raising a biracial child in Southbury. The other mom who called me, why we're here and why we keep going. So thank you, Mike, for what you did. So Thursday night was a good start to another path for Justice Southbury to cultivate an inclusive community, as the Love Your Neighbor imperative calls on us to listen to and to try to understand the values of others, all in support of our vision of a more fair and kind community for all. So next steps on the community conversations to be determined, maybe at other churches or places of worship, maybe at the library, maybe at businesses, maybe dinners. So not quite sure what path this will take, but we're working on it, and to be determined. Of course, we'll let you know.